After Jesus' arrest, the people took him to Pilate. Pilate was a Roman governor at the time, and he was one of the only people permitted to have someone executed. But Pilate found Jesus innocent. He found nothing wrong with him, but the people wanted him dead. So they were trying to say things to help Jesus be crucified, to be killed. But Pilate, again, found Jesus innocent. On multiple occasions, he said, I find this man innocent. Nothing's wrong with him. But the people started getting angry. They wanted Jesus killed. So Pilate was stuck in between this hard place of trying to make the people happy, but also trying to save this innocent man's life. So he had a compromise. He told the people, what if I had Jesus flogged and then I release him? But the people were not okay with that. They wanted Jesus dead. So Pilate gave in and he asked for a bowl of water. He put his hands in the water and washed them and said, I am innocent of this man's blood. The responsibility is yours. So Pilate sent Jesus to be crucified. And he gave him to soldiers. And the soldiers, it says in Matthew, stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. They wove thorn branches into a crown and put it on his head. And they placed a reed stick in his right hand as a scepter. And then they knelt before him in mockery and taunted, Hail, King of the Jews. And they spit on him and grabbed the stick and struck him across the head with it. And then the soldiers took Jesus and tied his hands together and put his hands on a post. 2 soldiers stood on either side of Jesus, each of them with a whip. During that time, the whips were made of pieces of leather. Some were single strips of leather, some were braided. And at the end of these pieces of leather were tied metal and pieces of glass. And then they began to whip Jesus. The pieces of leather would leave harsh bruises on Jesus' back. The metal and glass would tear Jesus' flesh apart, and they went so deep that Jesus' bones started to become exposed. They did this 39 times. 39 times because that's how many times someone was whipped before they were to die. Jesus was left on the verge of death, barely alive, holding on to life. I know this is graphic, and I know this can be a little bit hard to hear, but I think we need to sit in this for a moment to remember what Jesus did for us. Jesus chose to go through this torture. He chose to go through this pain. He chose to be dehumanized and humiliated, all because he didn't want us to go through that. So I encourage you, take a second and sit in this. Sit in this uncomfortable, gruesome feeling and thought of Jesus being tortured. It's important to sit in this because Jesus, again, chose this for us so you and I don't have to go through it.